Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Here. Tony Space. Here. Adam Townsend. Here. Larry Knopfsinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Mincer. Here. Mayor, we do have a quorum.
All right, our first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the December 18th meeting.
The December 18th, 2023 meeting was called to order by Councilmember Frank Stevenson. It was held in the City Council chambers at 4:30 p.m. We had the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilmember Tony Space. We had the Mayor and Councilmember Misty Cavanaugh were not present for the meeting, but all other council members were present. We had approval of the minutes of December 4th, 2023 that was approved. We also had approval of the bills and payroll. We had department reports where we had a report from our Economic Development Corporation President Bill Rudd, our Fire Department report and Police Department report. We had a resolution to declare police equipment as surplus that was approved. We also had an adjournment.
All right, are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have bills and payroll.
Yes, we have the total general fund of $676,649.21. Total sanitation of $48,082.13. Total electric utility of $89,809.85. And total water filter of $41,994.60. And total wastewater collection and treatment of $102,066.46. We have department payroll, governmental $54,813, police $145,342, fire $173,440, transportation of $32,485, cemetery of $4,752, park $18,044, sanitation $55,400, light fund $93,600, wastewater treatment of $21,301, wastewater collection of $32,895, water and filter of $53,995, Madisonville Sportsplex $3,085 for a total estimated biweekly payroll of $689,159. $151. Sorry.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll? Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move into the council committee report. We'll start with the appointment of a chairperson for the city council.
Mayor, at this time, I would like to appoint Frank Stevenson, chairperson of the city council.
So we have a motion to approve Frank Stevenson as the council chairperson by Adam Townsend. Do we have a second? We have a second by Tony Space. They are not. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations, Frank. Next, we have the discussion related to annexation and zoning committee. Do we have anything to report from that? We do not have a report. Do we have a report from the water, wastewater, stormwater committee?
Yes, Mayor, the Water, Wastewater, Stormwater, and Engineering Committee met today at 4 o'clock to discuss a change order for Phase 2 of the West Knoll Interceptor Project. And I would like to make a motion to approve the change order in the amount of $1,814,076.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second by Tony Space. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move into our department reports. We're going to make her go last. We'll start with the police department report.
Just stay right there, Chief. Just stay. So, good evening, Mayor Cotton and council members. This report will be for December 2023. It'll also represent the end of year report. So I'll go through December 1st. Total calls, December 3,409. Total arrests, 185. 42 felonies and 143 non-felonies. 60 accidents and average response time, 4.21 minutes. So page 2. Well, hold up. Before we leave page 1, let me go through just a couple of year-end totals. So call responses down a little bit. Total arrests are down a little bit. I mean, nothing to be really surprised about. It's not a huge drop, and our crime's down a little bit, so we kind of expect that. But nothing that's going to change what we do operationally. Accidents are down a little, which is a good thing. Response time is up a little bit, but not terrible. You know, like I said, nothing that we would, you know, we're not going to change what we're doing unless you guys have any suggestions, but still pleased to see that the crime rate definitely is coming down. So we'll move on to page 2 now. So drug seizures for the year, this is for the department as a whole. The total seizures, a little over $405,000 in street value, and the most common drug seized was methamphetamine. Pretty typical of what we see every year. So page 3, the racial data for 2023. The chart kind of is the easiest way to look at that. It's breaks it down into citations and warnings by race. So 77% of those were to white individuals, and then 18% black, and the other 5% broken down into Asian, Hispanic, and all others. All right, on to page 4. Traffic accident highest times. You know, I talk about this every month, and this is for the year. Pretty common. I mean, it's what you would expect. The highest accident times are between noon and 6 p.m., and that's because that's when most people are out and about on the roadways. You can look at it on either end of that graph, and there's nothing going on there. That's because that's the middle of the night, and we don't have a whole lot of people on the roads. So let's go to the last page. And our calendar year to date, Part 1 crimes are down 9%. All others are down 7%, and the total is down 7%. And that's really what our goal is when we go out there. We're trying to, I mean, everything we do is geared towards either preventing crime or solving crime that does happen on our watch. You know, and our men and women work hard to make that happen, and I think what we're doing is working. But like I said, we're definitely open to any suggestions that you guys have, and any feedback or anything like that. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions for the chief? If not, Chief, thank you very much. I will draw your attention to a post that they were able to make at the end of last year, that the crime rate in the city of Madisonville is as low as what it's been since 2003. So for the past 20 years, our crime rate is equal to that of what it was in 20 years ago. So that is great to see the fact that we have a low crime rate. That helps us as we're recruiting new businesses, new manufacturers, and new families to move the community, to be able to talk about the fact that we have a safe community. And our men and women and Chief Brian, Madisonville Police Department, do a fantastic job with that. So thank you all very much for your work. It shows. The Madisonville Fire Department report with Assistant Chief Jeff Mayfield.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Cotton. So I also have 2 reports. I have the December 2023 report as well as the year-end for 2023. We'll start with December. For the month of December, Madisonville Fire Department responded to a total of 159 calls for service. 109 of those calls were medical related, 50 were fire. Had 22 calls that overlapped one another for a percentage of 14%. For the month, we had a total of $2,000 in fire loss, with the pre-incident value of incidents was $136,000. Dispatch to responding, average time was 1 minute, 21 seconds. With dispatch to arriving on the scene was 4 minutes and 45 seconds. There were 591 training hours completed for the month. I had 17 fire inspections were completed, as well as 95 code enforcement cases were handled. 14 community programs were participated with the department members. 3 smoke detectors were issued, 722 adult contacts, as well as 1,365 child contacts for the month. For the year, for 2023, the fire department responded to a total of 1,613 calls for service. 1,049 were medical related, as well as 569 fire calls. Had a pre-incident value for all fire calls that were handled were $60,488,113, with a total fire loss of $4,208,192. For the year, the average response time from dispatch to responding was 1 minute 18 seconds, and dispatch arriving on scene was 4 minutes 37 seconds. Our personnel completed 10,933 training hours for the year. There were 570 Princeton inspections completed, 269 fire inspections, and 1,992 code enforcement cases were handled for the year. 172 community programs were completed by our personnel, 40 smoke alarms issued. We had a total of 11,532 adult contacts and 18,148 child contacts for the year.
Anybody have any questions for Assistant Chief Mayfield? Again, it looks like they've been extremely busy. You wouldn't think that having 10,933 training hours and being able to do 172 community projects or programs for a total of almost right at 30,000 contacts. That's incredible. So thank you all very much. Next, we have the last department report by Debbie Todd. And before she comes up, I do want to say that this will be her last report to the council, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes, but I'm going to bring you the microphone. You have to talk in the microphone.
Well, this is my final report. You won't have to look at me anymore after today, or at least up here. So I do have December's report to give to you. We issued 10 building permits, 2 sign permits. We had a demolition permit we issued, 2 HVACs. We had 2 zoning amendments in December, 1 zoning compliance report, a conditional use permit that was issued. This was at 14 North Main. This was for a first floor apartment downtown. We also had a COA certificate of appropriateness we issued, and that was for a sign, and then 2 mobile food permits. So even though those 2 in December issued, they were actually for the 2024 year. So also in your packet, you have the year to date, but I also included a report comparing the previous year, so you can kind of tell what we did based off of between 2022 and 2023. So the number of residential building permits, there is a little bit of a correction on the 2022 year. We actually only issued 27 rather than 29 single-family residential, and then 20 for the year 2023. The 2 additional ones that got lumped in with new residential are actually multifamily complexes. Those were the ones on North Street and West Newell Avenue. So those should have been under the multifamily category. Residential additions, this past year we had 23 issued. In the prior year it was 13. Residential accessories, 52 permits. That was up a little bit from the 40 that we issued the previous year. Residential alterations was 18 this past year, 6 the previous year. New commercial, we had 7 for 2023, 13 for 2022. Commercial additions, there were 4 this past year, 3 the prior. Commercial accessories, 8 versus 10. Commercial alteration, 25 versus 19. We had an industrial accessory permit issued this year, or this past year, as well as an industrial alteration for a total of 160 building permits issued. You can see the estimated cost of construction was $22,512,000. That was down quite a bit from the previous year, and that was due to the fact that we had issued Alstrom's permit that year, and then, of course, the two multifamily apartment complexes. I think they were 2.5 and 1.5 million. So that's why the construction cost is so out of balance there. Then down on the sign permits, 26 this past year, 32 the prior. We had exactly 24 demolition permits for both years. Major development plans, we actually had 2 on there for this past year. It shows 1. We just started record keeping those on the report about midway through. So one of those was for North Hopkins Gym, and the other one was Brewer Development. HVAC permits is 32 versus 31. Text amendments, we had 12, zoning map and text amendments, 12 this past year, 8 the prior. Zoning compliance requests were both 8. Dimensional variances, we had 3 versus 4. Conditional uses, 6 versus 5. 2 utility requests each year. Miscellaneous fees, and most of these are fire alarm sprinkler fees. We had 6 in 2023, 2 in 2022. COAs issued by the Historic District Commission, 11 versus 8. Special use outside sales permits, we had none this past year, 2 the prior. And then mobile food vendor permits, they were up. We had 37 actually this past year, and then 32 the previous year. So the total year to date for 2023 was 328 permits versus 297 the prior year. Any questions?
I do want to recognize, however, that Miss Debbie Todd has been with the city of Madisonville for 29 years. And she has announced her retirement, and she is so excited that this is her last report and her last city council meeting. But she's not going to go too far. We'll be able to reach out to Miss Debbie. But we are so thankful for the work and dedication that you have given to the citizens of Madisonville for the past 29 years. And overall, 45 years of planning and zoning for Hopkins County. So thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. We will definitely miss you, and may the Lord bless all that you do in your future endeavors. So thank you very much. All right, with that being said, you notice I didn't give her the microphone back. I was afraid what she was going to say back, so because it's her last meeting. But under new business, we have a resolution to declare vehicles as surplus property.
You got me. I'm all messed up on my council thing here. Let me go back. Have it all in order. We have a resolution to declare vehicles as surplus property, whereas the city of Madisonville wastewater collection owns the following described vehicles, and I have those listed there. There is 5 of them. Whereas the city of Madisonville wastewater collection department requests to dispose of the vehicles by means appropriate according to KRS 82.083. Now therefore be it resolved as follows: the above described vehicles are now declared as surplus property, and the city is authorized to dispose of the vehicles by means according to KRS 82.083.
Do I have a motion to approve the vehicles listed for wastewater collections as surplus property? Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have some municipal orders. We will start with the municipal orders to reappoint the Tourism Advisory Board.
I'm going to read one of them, and then we're going to vote on each one, but I'm not going to read. All of them's going to have the same term ending. So the first one is a reappointment of Karen Tapp to the Tourism Advisory Board. that Karen Tapp shall be and hereby is reappointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, that the term of Karen Tapp shall end on December the 31st, 2024, and that Karen Tapp shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville, and that this order shall become effective upon adoption by city council.
Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Karen Tapp to the Tourism Advisory Board? I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
I just want to know that I'm going to vote no for Karen Tapp, Tim Witzel, and Michael Hunt. Just for purposes of transparency and stuff, they have been on this board for 5 and 6 years, and so I think it's time for them to have some different people on this board and have some different visions on this board. So I'm going to vote no for those reasons. Let that be known.
So at this point, we have a motion and a second for the reappointment of Karen Tapp. So we'll do a roll call on these. So Kim, can you do a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And then Chad Minzer.
No.
And you just keep going.
Okay, the next one will be do we have a motion for the reappointment of Tim Witzel? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
No.
Next, we have the reappointment of Michael Hunt. Do we have a motion to approve the reappointment of Michael Hunt? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. Chad Minzer.
No.
Motion passes. Next, we have the reappointment of Elizabeth Oldham. Do we have a motion for Elizabeth Oldham? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
Yes.
We have a motion. Do we have a motion to appoint LeBaron McAdoo? So we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
Yes.
Next, do we have a motion to reappoint Lyle Crouch to the Tourism Advisory Board? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
Yes.
Next, we have a motion to reappoint Chip Tate to the Tourism Advisory Board. So we have a motion and we have a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
Yes.
Next, we have a motion to reappoint Gina Matcham to the Advisory Board. We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Yes. Tony Space.
Yes.
Adam Townsend.
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger. Frank Stevenson. And Chad Minzer.
Yes.
Next, we have an appointment of Glenda Seaton to the Tourism Advisory Board.
Yes, this is an appointment that Glenda Seaton shall be and hereby is appointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that the term of Glenda Seaton shall end on December the 31st, 2024, and that Glenda Seaton shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville, and that this order shall become effective upon adoption by city council.
Do we have a motion for the appointment of Glenda Seaton to the Tourism Advisory Board? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
No, we just found out today.
She just confirmed today.
Well, I just got sent out at 9:30, so.
So, but you're more than welcome to vote either way. So,
I did update that. It should be on there, Chad. I republished the agenda, so it should be on there. Misty Cavanaugh? Yes. Tony Space?
Yes.
Adam Townsend?
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger? Frank Stevenson? And and Chad Minzer.
All right, motion passes. Next, we have an appointment to the Historic District Commission.
That Stephanie Townsell Bowes shall be and hereby is appointed to the Historic District Commission, that the term of Stephanie Townsell Bowes shall be for 3 years and end in January 16, 2027, and that Stephanie Townsell Bowes shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville.
Do we have a motion to appoint Stephanie Townsell Bowles to the Historic District Commission? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have the appointment of a fire chief.
Jason Ellis shall, I'm sorry, Jason Eli shall be and hereby is appointed to the chief of the fire department of the city of Madisonville, Kentucky, and that Jason Eli shall serve in such capacity at the pleasure of the mayor, and that his service in such capacity shall be in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville, as the same may from time to time be amended. That this order shall become effective February the 29th, 2024, and adoption by city council.
This will be to fill the vacancy of Chief John Dunning once Chief John Dunning retires on February the 29th. Do I have a motion to appoint Jason Eli? Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty Cavanaugh?
Yes.
Tony Space?
Yes.
Adam Townsend?
Yes.
Larry Knopfinger? Frank Stevenson? And Chad Minzer.
Motion passes. Congratulations, Jason Eli. He is standing in the back. We do appreciate you accepting this position and look forward to working with you in the future. Next, we have an executive order for the appointment of the City Council committee assignments.
This order is by the mayor of the city of Madisonville pursuant to the authority vested in him by applicable law, does hereby appoint as follows. The following city council committee assignments are hereby made. And we've got the budget and finance, where the chair is Frank Stevenson, Tony Space, and Chad Minzer. Public safety is Tony Space as chair, Larry Knopfinger and Adam Townsend. Annexation and zoning, Frank Stevenson is the chair, Misty Cavanaugh and Larry Knopfinger. Parks and Rec, Chad Minzer's chair, Larry Knopfinger and Misty Cavanaugh. Economic Development, Frank Stevenson is chair, Tony Space and Adam Townsend. Tourism is Adam Townsend as chair, Larry Knopfinger and Frank Stevenson. Property and Risk Management, Misty Cavanaugh as chair, Adam Townsend and Tony Space. Transportation, Sanitation, Adam Townsend's chair, Misty Cavanaugh and Chad Minzer. Water, Wastewater, Stormwater Engineering is Misty as chair, Tony Space and Chad Minzer. Electric is Larry Knopfinger as chair, Frank Stevenson, Chad Minzer. Airports, Larry Knopfinger as chair, Tony Space, Frank Stevenson. Pension is Tony Space. And that the terms of these committees shall be for a period of 1 year commencing on first day of January 2024 and continuing through December the 31st. That each committee member shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the city of Madisonville.
All right, our next order of business is a proclamation, and we have some special guests with us here. Even though the school is out today because of the weather, they decided to come in and join us today. They are an integral part of our community and our students and our schools. Whereas Family Resource and the Youth Services Centers remove the non-academic barriers to student achievement, bridge the gaps to needed resources, and collaborate the resources of school and communities for the success of students, families, and communities. And whereas Hopkins County is serviced by 13 Family Resource and Youth Services Centers that have assisted our students with school and community resources to bridge gaps and remove non-cognitive barriers to learning, and whereas Family Resource and Youth Services Centers developed a system of support in their local communities and provide opportunities for children, families, and the community that allow all students to learn and the community to thrive. And whereas Family Resource and Youth Services Coordinator Appreciation Week recognizes, raises awareness of, and celebrates the more than 850 Family Resource youth service centers, and coordinators across the Commonwealth and the critical role that they address in the success of students, families, and schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Kevin Cotton, do hereby proclaim February 5th through the 9th, 2024 as Family Resource and Youth Service Coordinators Appreciation Week in Madisonville, Kentucky, to honor the Family Resource and Youth Services coordinators who work tirelessly to serve our students, families, and communities with the motto of whatever it takes. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand on this, says 16th day of January, but it's not. It is, isn't it? 16th day of January. We're a little early. It's February the 5th. I'm thinking I'm already in February. So the 16th day of January 2024, but the week will be February the 5th through the 9th. So at this time, I know that we have some guests here from our youth services centers. If you all would please come forward, and if any of you all would like to say a few words, I will be more than happy to pass the microphone over to you.
He always do me this way. I would just like to say on behalf of the Hopkins County Schools, we are very proud to accept being here tonight. It's an honor really to have a service like we have in the school system for all 13 coordinators for Hopkins County Schools, for our Family Resource and Youth Service Centers. As we go to our Victory Over Violence Conference every year, it's either in Louisville or Lexington or was it Covington? We find out that this county is really a blessed county. Along with the city of Madisonville for the protection of the school. When we go into meetings, we learn more about the new things to expect for the coming school year. And a lot of times it's things that from drug use to how families operate, and when we do home visits, along with the protection that we have from the city police department, Madisonville City Police Department, and the school system combining to keep our kids safe doing the school and doing home visits and doing activities. It's really an honor to be able to say that we're proud to be in Madisonville and to serve.
Ooh, great job.
All right, the next order of business is closed session. So we have a motion to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810.1B for the discussions concerning deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property when publicity would be likely to affect the value of the property. Do I have a second? We will, all in favor say aye. We will adjourn to the back for a short closed session, hopefully a short closed session, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
Yes, Mayor, make a motion to return from closed session.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that the council authorize you to negotiate on behalf of the city for potential purchase of some real property and authorize you to do that. Act as our agent.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I think the last thing that we have on the agenda,
It says recognition. Did you already do that?
yes, we will be doing, yes. We have a motion to adjourn the city council meeting. We have a second. All in favor say aye. Thank you very much.